Hey everybody, and welcome to the Be Lucky Weekend podcast that is free for you on YouTube. A completely different format to what we've done before. We're going to be talking about 3 races. We're going to be talking about the Group 1 Sun Chariot Stakes. We're then going to head over to Ascot and talk about the Cumberland Lodge, which looks quite exciting for a betting perspective. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the big one, the Arc de Triomphe on Sunday. So we're getting ready to kickstart the weekend's action. Brilliant action across the board. If you want my tips, please head to the Patreon page where you will get exclusive access to my selections. But for now, we're going to talk straight away about the Group 1 at Newmarket, the Sun Chariot Stakes. It was won last year by Tamfana, a free-roll for David Menuisier, Inspiral the year before, Fontaine the year before that. 3-year-olds have won 3 of the last 4 run-ins of this race, and it looks extremely competitive, right? Cinderella's Dream, William Buick, Charlie Appleby head the market at a very fair 2-1. Fallen Angel is in there, said perhaps not to be running this week because they wanted a bit of rain for her. That is not transpired. It's currently good to firm at Newmarket. But she's second favourite at 5-2. Lady of Spain, the improving 4-year-old who made a winning return to action, having been off the track for a long time, almost 10 months when winning at Sandown, beating Bolt Blue 15-2. Bolt Blue herself, the 3-year-old, probably worth a bit of an upgrade on that Sandown effort, is 8-1 under Colin Keane. Atislia, 12-1, Cathedral 20-1, Cheshire Dancer 20-1, Scara Stands 33, Spiritual 40-1, and Sparks Fly, who has bloody been campaigned poorly this year, is 80-1 and is running on fast ground, which she doesn't want. Completely baffling to me that they could have had good opportunities in the last month or so on soft ground, and they've decided to come here for Group 1 action on good to firm. Brain dead. Anyway, Cinderella's Dream heads the market here. This is everything she wants, right? Quick ground, Newmarket, over the straight mile. She had Fallen Angel in behind previously, and she just loves this Newmarket course, right? She won the July course on her penultimate start. She won Smashed Up in Malka here in May. She is still improving, I do think, and she's a very fair price at the top of the market, considering her biggest danger on the figures is Fallen Angel, who perhaps doesn't want ground this fast. Now, there's not a lot between Fallen Angel and Cinderella's Dreams on a couple of meetings previously, but Newmarket is it just plays to Cinderella's Dreams' strengths, right? It just plays to her strengths. She is a really, really nice 4-year-old. But she does have a sort of a poor run in her, if you like. She needs the race to be set up. She's going to be given horses first run. But she looks pretty solid to me. There's plenty of favourites across Saturday that are worth taking on. Is she one of them? Just not quite sure. Lady of Spain, I was very impressed with at Sandown. To do what she did on her first start on turf, unknown about the ground, soft ground, to beat Bolt Blue the way she did, I thought was really quite impressive. Bolt Blue perhaps worth a little bit of an upgrade, having travelled wide for much of the race and then travelled wide down the straight where Lady of Spain sort of went inside. She finished off her race really nicely. If there's a 3-year-old that's going to win it, it could well be Bolt Blue to maintain that good record of 3-year-olds. She's around 8-1 for Andrew Bolden, Colin Keane, and you just get the feeling we've not seen the best of her just yet. Drawn in stall 5, should get a good pace to aim at. She'll probably be tracking the likes of Fallen Angel and any other pacemakers in this particular race. I think Bolt Blue could be the one as the each-way value in the race. How Lady of Spain is going to bounce out of that Sandown run, we just don't know. Fallen Angel, again, how is she going to handle quick ground at Newmarket? I'm just not sure. She's pretty solid, but if she's beaten, you wouldn't be surprised, right? So it has got a little bit of an open field, but if Cinderella's Dream bounces back to the 2 runs at Newmarket on the July course and on this Rowley Mile where she's recorded RPRs of 119, I think she'll be very, very difficult to beat. I think Bolt Blue, though, is probably worth the each-way play in the race. she looks a fair price, and I think she's going to be there or thereabouts. She's been pretty solid throughout her career. She's only had a handful of starts. She's improving, career best on the top speed figures last time, career best on the RPR ratings last time. She's pretty interesting. Cathedral, one at a much bigger price, probably one not to quite write off just yet. She ran on quite nicely behind Fallen Angel at Leopardstown. Leopardstown's very much a front runner's track, so I would kind of upgrade her effort just a little bit and downgrade Fallen Angel's effort just a little bit. She was outpaced at a crucial stage. That just concerns me when you're coming into the undulations of Newmarket. You're being outpaced on a flat track like Leopardstown. Perhaps the Newmarket undulations are not for you. The dip is not for you, because that's the moment you're going to get outpaced again. And she may well run on for a place. But I think Bolt Blue's pretty solid. It's very difficult to really have a confident selection because Cinderella's Dream has that star potential, right? She has that potential to go and blow this field apart and improve into a proper filly. We haven't really got a standout filly this year. Bolt Blue, sort of the best, I suppose, of the 3-year-olds, if you like, on the back of that Sandown effort. But I do think there might be a little bit more to come from Bolt Blue. She's got a great attitude, and she finds and finds and finds. She seems ground versatile, so I'm looking forward to seeing how she gets on. Perhaps that's the each way play in the race with the safety net of those places, if you like. Okay, let's move on over to the Group 3 Cumberland Lodge Stakes over at Ascot. Now, this was a really big field at before declaration stage, and it's really cut up quite significantly. Now, at Ascot, there's rain due Friday night, all night into Saturday morning, and the ground currently is described as good. I'm expecting good, soft, maybe soft ground come race time at Ascot. So bear that in mind when you're having your bets at Ascot this week. We are talking about the 225, the Cumberland Lodge Group 3. Al Kareem has won this for the last 2 years. Hamish won this previously in 2022. They go head to head in the Battle of the Cumberland Lodge winners. Hamish is just heading the market currently. Best price 2-1, but more like 15-8. Al Kareem second in around 5-2, but is as short as 6-4, 11-8 with some bookmakers who obviously think Al Kareem should be the one heading the market. Military Academy 11-2. Said Dinadan gets a first time tongue tie for Ralph Beckett 15-2, and William Haggis's second string, if you like, under Danny Muscat is 10-1, the outsider of the 5. A good little race, a very tricky betting heat. Hamish has already beaten Al Kareem, has already beaten Military Academy twice. Looks pretty straightforward if you're that way inclined, and he's going to get his ground conditions. The 9-year-old is a very smart horse. There's no doubt about that. He's clear on the ratings. He's getting £3 this time from Al Kareem. There's absolutely no reason he should not go and land this, in my opinion. Now, Al Kareem is probably going to have the run of the race unless Sir Dinadan decides he's going to push forward again and take him on. And if that's the case, I do think it will set up nicely for Hamish. And there's really no knocking what the William Haggis horse has done. The William Haggis 9-year-old rated 117. Now, you could, I suppose, if you really wanted to be picky, you could argue that he was below par at Chester when beating Mount Atlas. It looked like he clung on the line a little bit at Chester, and it was perhaps a performance that just may have given signs that he might be on the downgrade. He had only beaten Military Academy and Neck at Goodwood the time before that. Chester really did turn into a sprint, which didn't suit Military Academy at all. And I think Military Academy will be very happy back on a slower surface over a stiffer test of stamina, back on a more conventional track. And I think he's the one that's been a little bit overlooked in this market, simply on the basis of that Chester run last time. If Kieran Schumacher can really attack these and come with a real long sustained run down the home straight, I think Military Academy still has a bit of improvement to come in him, whereas Al Kareem and Hamish perhaps are at the sort of in the twilight of their career and maybe haven't got as much improvement to come. But regardless, they still set a very solid standard. There's no way you can knock them. At the weights, Hamish should be taking a world of whacking, really. But I do have a sneaky feeling that Military Academy may outrun his odds of 11-2. And it wouldn't be out of out of the realms of possibility that he could get the job done. It's a very, very tricky betting heat. It's an enticing betting heat. It's making me want to get involved. It really is, because I do like this race and I like it a lot, and it's a tactical puzzle, right? So it does really entice you in. I've got a little bit more work to do on this, but I'm looking forward to getting stuck in to that Cumberland Lodge over at Ascot. Right, let's move on to the big one. The big one of the weekend. It is Paddy Longchamp on Sunday. Paddy Longchamp on Sunday! And it's the Qatar Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe at 3:05. We've got 18 runners that have stood their ground. Currently, they're describing the ground as good to soft. It's very difficult to get a real handle on sort of the ground conditions over in France. So please do your due diligence here. Go and look at multiple different sort of descriptions, turf tracks, time form, the racing post. Even on the betting sites, they can get it a bit closer to the official going description than something like the Racing Post, for example. But Minnie Hawk is heading the market 4-1. She is drawn in stall 1. I'm suspecting Aiden O'Brien has gone, yes, when that draw has come out, because in the last 10 years, you've only had 3 horses that have been drawn double figures and above to win this race. Golden Horn, Found, and Takorto Tasso, and some very, very good horses have been beaten by this wide draw at Paddy Longchamp. So I'm assuming Aiden O'Brien and Christophe Simenon are thrilled with the inside draw in stall 1 to get a good prominent position and keep out of all the nonsense that normally happens in behind in this race. Adventure was second in the race last year to none other than the brilliant Blue Stocking. She will need to run at least to that level to get in the frame again. Stall 12 this time around is going to be no help to her, unfortunately. But they say that they've got a different feeling about Adventure this year. She's a stronger filly at 4. She's coming into it in much better form. That's what connections feel. She's around 9-2. I think that price is going to drift out on the day once the market starts really reacting to these draws and some statistical analysis comes out about the draws. Perhaps Adventure, if you like her, you're going to get a bigger price on the day. Byzant Dream, Oisin Murphy's been booked for this horse since Royal Ascot, apparently. Was a good winner 28 days ago in his prep race for this, beating Sosi. But it was actually quick ground that day. It was fast ground. Now, they described it as good to soft on the Racing Post. That is nonsense. It was actually quick ground that day and really put in a good performance there. Now, whether this horse will handle slower ground on Sunday is the big question mark. Oisin Murphy did come out straight after the race and said, this horse wants top of the ground. Has to have top of the ground. So I can see this one having a little drift along with a draw in stall 15. It's going to make life very difficult for Oisin Murphy. Japanese Raider number 2, Crocs de Nord, been drawn 17, 12-1. Very difficult to weigh up the sort of the level of form that he's achieved. He won last time at Paddy Longchamp, beating Daraz, who is in this race, in a Prince de Orange. Naran was only 2 lengths behind, though, or less than 2 lengths behind, and that just gives me a little bit of a question over the form. Daraz, to me, is quite slow, but I do think that he has got I think Croc de Nord did have him comfortably held, to be honest. It looked like he just held on, but I just think the way the race unfolded, I think he was comfortable on the line. But again, stall 17, I couldn't play any part in that. You're either going to waste so much energy bursting out the stalls, trying to get round the front, trying to slow it down, and then trying to quicken again, whilst other horses are building up momentum, or you're going to drop right in and pray for some luck to come from well off the gallop. And I just don't think that's something you want as an added extra pressure on something you're going to bet on. Kalpana, cheek pieces first time. Very interesting for Andrew Boldin. Colin Keane takes the ride, drawn in stall 10. Not the end of the world, but the prep run at Kempton when she was a 1-2 fav. You know, you'd like to have seen her go and win that. I think if she had gone and won that, she would have been close to favouritism in this. She was a length behind Calandagan at Ascot the time before. No disgrace in that whatsoever. But I didn't like the way she was turned away by Whirl back in January. She looked to down tools when she was asked to fight. And that was the same case at Kempton, I thought, with Giavolotto. I think she just down tools. that may well be why they're now sticking a pair of cheek pieces on her to get her to run right through the line, and if she gets into a battle, to really find. A lovely, lovely horse, but I think there's too many questions for me at the moment for Kalpana. Sosi had his chance last year as well, beaten 4 lengths, nearly 5 lengths by Blue Stocking. He is a 12-1 chance. He will want as much rain as possible. But again, I don't really feel 1.5 miles really sees him to best effect. I thought in a proper run race last year, I just felt he didn't really finish out his race. And maybe he's another year older. Maybe he's another year stronger. Maybe he's girthed out. Maybe he's, I don't know. But he's drawn in stall 3. He'll have every single chance. He'll be there or thereabouts. I can see him coming from good each way support in this race, depending on what the ground descriptions talk of. Corsica. For Andre Favre, William Buick takes the ride again. Beat Bay City Roller by a neck at Paddy Longchamp last time over course and distance. Was a really good effort, career best effort from him. A nice 3-year-old going the right way. I just don't think that form's quite good enough, to be honest. I just don't think that form's quite good enough. But he has got a good record here at Paddy Longchamp, and he is taking steps forward with every single run. I couldn't really put you off too much. Drawn in stall 8, no problem at all for him. Yeah, he's a nice horse. I think he'll have his chance. Dayraz, I've already touched on, is a 14-1 shot. Again, not really overly thrilled with the level of his form. Really disappointed when he came over to York behind Ombudsman in the Judmont International. And it did stay on quite nicely last time. Maybe Step Up and Trip could bring out a bit further improvement. Mikel Barcelona takes the ride, drawn in stall 2. I wonder if they're going to go and be really positive with him, knowing that he's going to stay well. I think that's the way I would like to see him ridden if I was going to be having a bet on him at 14-1. I'd really want him to see confidence in Mikel Barcelona that he's going to stay the trip, because the worst thing you can see as a punter is a horse that is going to improve for the Step Up and Trip, but is dropped out to get the trip. I can't stand that. You're either going to get it or you're not. It doesn't matter if you dropped out, because you've got to make that run in to get there, right? Estrange, drawn in 18. She's going to be a big drifter in this market. I can see that now. She had a really good chance. She was behind Minnie Hawk in the Yorkshire Oaks last time, beaten 3 lengths. No match for that horse, but that was on fast ground. You could probably put a little bit of a line through that. Haydock the time before, I thought she did really well against Scenic. Scenic's a good horse on her day. I don't think that form should be underestimated. Scenic at the likes of York and Haydock is a very, very smart horse, but she does really need to improve and step forward now. If she's getting back on some softer ground, she could be a different animal. But drawn in stall 18, Danny Tudhope's got a world of work cut out for himself in there. Chisora, unexposed, won the French 1000 Guineas earlier this season. Is a horse that is improving steadily. She is a lovely, lovely filly. Tom Marquand takes the ride, and she could really go well. She gets all the allowances. She was behind Aventura last time out in the Prix Vermeil. That Prix Vermeil has been quite a good little prep race for this in previous years. Chisora, very, very nice horse. She's got a good attitude. She can quicken. Lots to like about her. She's going to have to get out well from stall 13 under Tom Marquand, and she's going to have to be in pole position. And if she is in pole position entering the final 3 furlongs, she could really stay well. She's unexposed at the trip. She's got a smart turn of foot. That could be the difference. She is a tempting price at 16-1. Japanese Raider number 3, Alo Ali. Won last time out in really good fashion, but that was a miles on the figures, at least. That was miles different to anything that he had done previously. He's only had a handful of starts. Looks very, very nice indeed. But the Rashabar, form of Rashabar, I'm just not entirely convinced by it, to be honest with you. And did make all and dictate a very slowly run race. I wonder if they're going to be able to try and do those tactics again. I think this horse might end up getting taken on for the lead, and we might just see a bit of a different performance. But drawn in stall 4, can't write this horse off with an entirely unexposed profile and an RPR of 120 last time out. Giavolotto drawn in stall 5, 33-1. A little bit insulting for Giavolotto, who beat Kalpana at Kempton in that Group 3 prep race for this contest. Now is said to be aimed at the Hong Kong Vase. Again, a race he won last year in Sha Tin, beating Dubai Honour in December. But they're turning up here, and rightly so. Give him a chance at this, because had Kalpana would have won at Kempton the way he did, she would have been favourite. How is Kalpana now a much, much shorter price than Giavolotto? Now, it's said he wants top of the ground, so he won't want too much rain. But good to soft is no issue. British good to soft is absolutely no issue whatsoever. He caught the eye at Epsom behind Jan Brugel and Calandigan when they didn't really have a chance to get involved in the race because he was held up off a slow gallop. The time before at Meydan, I'm not sure he entirely loves going to Meydan, so I'm happy to forgive that. That was also a seasonal reappearance. 6 lengths beaten by Danon Desil. No shame in that whatsoever. Absolutely slammed the rest last year at Newmarket on good to soft ground. This is his trip. He's got a great record at this trip. He's drawn in stall 5. Andrea Atzini has been called back aboard, having seen Oisin Murphy already booked up on that Japanese raider we mentioned since Ascot. Andrea Atzini, the only time he rode him, he won the Yorkshire Cup. I think Giavolotto's got a big chance if he can break and sit prominently. I don't want to see him sat out the rear of the field. It was nice to see him ridden handily against Kalpana. He won going away, an RPR of 118. Another big effort like that. We'll see him there or thereabouts. And he's a massive price at 33-1. Can't quite believe he's that price. 20-1 general, actually. 33-1. Los Angeles gets cheek pieces for Aiden O'Brien. Los Angeles ran really well in this race last year off the front end, but ultimately was no match for the winner. Cheek pieces go on first time, looking to bring out a bit further improvement, but stall 14 is an absolute killer for a horse that likes to be right up there with a gallop. Quisana, 33-1, has won her last 4, beating Servi last time when she was very well placed to win that Group 1 Jean Romat. But she is a nice horse. She is improving. She could have any amount to come. I'm just not convinced about the level of form for this. White Birch is very interesting. Has a great record fresh, but didn't put that to good use when behind Delacroix, beaten 4 lengths last time at Leopardstown. But Leopardstown is very much a front runner's track. He was held up. It was obviously a prep run for this race. He is desperate to get back on some softer ground, and he could prove a different proposition back on a slower surface. He hasn't been on soft ground since he slammed home at the Curragh in the Morsborough Stakes Group 2, beating Lord Minucius last year in May. So it's a long time he's gone without being on soft ground. The trip is a slight question mark, I must admit. But you go back to that Dante run when he finished second to the Foxes in May 2023, continuous behind, passenger behind. That race has not worked out to be exceptional form, but it's worked out okay. He looked like he needed every yard of the running there on good to firm over 10 furlongs. He's another year older, or another 2 years older now, and he may well just be crying out for a mile 4. White Birch is another massive price that looks like he could go well. Leffard for JC Roger and Christian Demuro, 50-1 after disappointing last time out. 6 to Corsifer at Paddy Longchamp over course and distance. Put a line through that, you know, you'd give him a squeak. Arrow Eagle was disappointing. I think he was just found out with a step up in grade last time here at Parry by Byzantium Dream. He's 100-1. And Hot as Hell is 100-1 also, drawn in stall 11. Beaten 4 lengths by Delacroix. Again, another looks like he wants a mile and a half. Could improve for the trip. Wants to get back on softer ground as well. And is one you would give a squeak to it. He's 100-1, considering he ran an RPR of 118 last time. It's quite fucking remarkable, really, that he's 100-1. He's drawn in stall 11. We'll see how it goes, but it wouldn't surprise me if he ran on into a place. So there's a handful there at big, big prices that I think could go well. Mini Hawk is obviously a big, big danger to all, right? If she gets out from stall 1 and she sits handily and she just has a race beautifully set up for her, she could be very hard to beat. There's going to be lots of scrimmage in behind, and she could just get first kick on a few of these. But she's well found in the market, right? So let's have a look at something at a big price. A handful that I'd be interested in: Giavolotto, White Birch, and Hot as Hell. 3 huge, huge prices there. maybe I'm being a little bit over complicating it, and just Mini Hawk has everything in her favour, and she's just going to go and land the spoils here. But I will have a selection for members in this race. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, thank you very much for watching, by the way. If you've enjoyed this podcast, then please head to Daryl Carter on Patreon, and please come and have a look at what we've got to offer. Really excited about the weekend's racing. This was supposed to be short and snappy. It's not been, but whatever you're doing this weekend, be lucky and enjoy yourselves. Take care.